Hi, and welcome back to Thone's Nibbles, number 174, covering part of Ephesians chapter 6, Servants and Masters. This is a sensitive area, and we need to be understanding of both what is said here and what it's really applying itself to, or else we may come up to appear to be serving a evil God, to be quite honest. Ephesians chapter 6, verses 5 through 9. Bondservants, be obedient to those who are your masters, according to the flesh, with fear and trembling, in sincerity of heart, as to Christ, not with eye service as man-pleasers, but as bondservants of Christ, doing the will of God from the heart, and goodwill, doing service as to the Lord, and not to men, knowing that whatever good anyone does, he will receive the same from the Lord, whether he is slave or free. And you, masters, do not the same also is in heaven, and there is no partiality with him. Some people say that this and other similar sections of Scripture say that God advocates slavery, or approves of it, or has some mixed emotions about it, I guess, perhaps. And that nothing could be further from the truth. The Lord is telling people who are in a bad situation how they can be the best of that bad situation. He's not saying, I'm glad you're in that situation and therefore here. He's saying that because you are in this bad situation here on earth, you've got to understand that when we get to heaven, you're going to be just as equal to that master, if not better, because that's the way God thinks. We understand, we have to think about, so every day when we address this kind of thing, we have a short time on earth. We have a forever coming up in heaven. So some people are going to be richer. Some people are going to be smarter. Some people are going to be freer. Some people are going to be kinder and unkinder. And you name every situation in the whole spectrum of possibilities, and the point is, they're only going to be richer for a brief period of time. They're only going to be smarter for a brief period of time. They're only going to own each other for a brief period of time. Sad situation. The point is that all are servants to the Lord. It doesn't matter the richest master, and believe, we're not just talking about the unfortunate institution of slavery, which a good deal of the world has at one time or another participated in. We're also talking about bosses and employees. Anytime that there is a clear inequity in one person being over other people. And that could be a boss, and there are good bosses and there's not good bosses, and we all know that. Why is this in the Bible? God's viewpoint on the equality of men, to all believers, communications, the rewards will be equal. That is, that person who owns 150 slaves at some point, if they are a saved person, and if some percentage of their slaves are slave people or saved people, then they are going to be exactly equal with those slaves in the afterlife. That's the equality of men. The rewards that we receive in heaven will be equal, regardless of what lofty position we might have held or very poor position we might have held. When we get to heaven, our rewards are equal. Application to my life. The relationship between master and servant should be respectful and willing. This includes all such relationships, from master and slave to employee and worker. God is pleased when this is true. If both people in the relationship, the master and the slave, are respectful and willing, if the employer and the worker are respectful and willing, then God is pleased with this. This doesn't mean He's pleased with the situation. It means that He's pleased that some different categories of people with different worldviews and different attitudes still can respect each other and be willing to help each other. God to me, all created are equal. That's simply it. That's God's plan of salvation, right? That every person that's ever lived on the earth is equal to every other person who's lived on the earth. And for that reason, He loves them all the same. And for that reason, all have the possibility of salvation simply by asking for it. My personal response to this is, Lord, let me treat all humans with honor and respect in my thoughts, words, and actions. Now, I'm going to take off a little bit of the cover off of me for a minute here and bare my soul a little bit to you. I have 9 people I call children. And some of them are, a couple of them are my natural born children. A couple of them are the natural born children of my, 4 of them in fact are the natural born children of my second wife. And 2 of those I have adopted, and 2 of those were already basically grown and gone before she and I got together. And then, in addition to that, there are 3 other children who are 100% adopted. And they are all of a, let's say this carefully and gently, of an ethnic type which would have made them slaves in a certain time in this country's history. So I have 3 children that would at one time or another have been a slave had the time be different, if the time was different. So I abhor slavery. I abhor people who think someone is better than someone else because of the color of their skin or the slant of their eyes or whatever unkind class they can be put into. I don't believe in that. So treat me, all humans, with honor and respect in my thoughts, words, and actions. And I'm just letting you know that I have lived part of that promise already. So that finishes this one, and we'll see you next time.